Hey, what's going on, guys? Bflattened here with a brand new video today. Today we're going to be talking about a part 2 video that I had. I made a part 1 video that was called The Decline of Gearbox a couple weeks back. This is going to be part 2 of it. It was going to be how Wonderlands can improve rather than the decline of Gearbox as it was previously. So I wanted to try to make them as unique as possible, so let's go ahead and talk about each one now. So the first one seems to be story DLC is not really happening, and a lot of fans are disappointed in the lack of story DLC. Now, story DLC has always been a thing that's been in Borderlands since the beginning of time. We don't really have that. We just have these little tiny PLCs that last 10 minutes each, and there's a lack of content per se with it. Now, a while ago, I wrote a Reddit post, and I know Reddit is not the most reputable source of information or anything, but I ended up writing a story over on Reddit that I think could drastically change the flow of how Wonderlands is in right now. It was overwhelmingly positive, so I wanted to share it with you guys as well. The basis of it, and I'm not going to explain all of it just because it's long, but I'll link you guys to the Reddit post itself. But the basis of it is that Vesper, who's currently talking now, would end up betraying us in the end after DLC 4. Now, what would end up happening is that she would go into her own mirror, which is called the Mirrors of Betrayal. Through the Mirrors of Betrayal, we have to fight every single DLC boss that we have received from DLC 1, 2, 3, and eventually 4, whenever that comes out, in a boss rush style format. A little bit later on, we would then find out at the end that the Wheel of Fortune, or whatever you want to call it at the end, the souls that we feed it, was actually to conjure and summon up a boss. Now, the boss that would be involved would be a form of Tiamat, which is a 5-headed Hydra that ends up having each head representing a different element. There's 5 elements in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. We have God, why can't I remember it now? Shock, corrosion, fire, cryo, and dark magic. Each head would represent its own form of element. Whatever element that it has, it would be immune to its of that type. So dark head would be immune to dark magic, etc., etc. And throughout the story, it would be story mode scaling, but then later on, it could be unlocked as a raid boss format, in which it would have its own dedicated drops and have its own traditional raid boss format. Now, there's a lot of other things that you can add on top of this, of course. Another one that I had was Izzy could be a doppelganger, since she has all the information on us. She has our bank, she has our character customization, our class creator, and this was also given us in the story. So she would be the perfect culprit for a person to spy on the Fate Maker. Having her as a doppelganger to provide information on us would also prove quite valuable to someone like Vesper, if they were to betray us. Now, there's a lot more that's involved in the post, but I'll link it to you guys so you could read the full thing if you were interested. Now, let's get into the actual nitty-gritty of the game, and that's diversity. Diversity branches off into so many different segments, it's crazy. So we'll go ahead and break it down into each individual branch. The first one is endgame. We just have these chaos chambers, and whatever gets unlocked in the DLCs gets added to the chaos chambers, kind of making them less unique. Is it repetitive? Yes, absolutely. I saw a comment on the last one that was saying that save quit farming is also repetitive. This is true, but at least whenever you have that save quit repetition, you can choose what repetition you want to do. You're not just forced into chaos chambers and that's it. You can actually choose what repetition you want to do, whether it be like Maliwan takedown, for example, or do you want to save quit a boss, or do you want to do arms race, or, you know, etc., etc. You can choose what form of repetitive action that you want to take. It's all repetitive in the end, and that's just how loot shooters are going to be no matter what. but at least you can go and select which one you want to do. Bosses now, our raid bosses are stuck in chaos chambers. We don't have like a traditional style raid boss at all. That's kind of unfortunate. We haven't even seen them unlock in these DLCs either. We've just been getting low format bosses that get slightly more powerful each week, and they last like what, 1 or 2 more seconds longer than their forms previous, and that's it. Class mods I talked about in the last one. They're not character unique at all. Every single class mod, here, let me show you. Every single class mod does not have an ability attached to it that is unique to the character. They just have either the 5 passive amalgam, they have something that has high points into an overpowered skill, and that's all you're really looking for at the end of the day, is whatever has the most powerful skill that's for your build, or an amalgam because it has 5 passes on it, and that's really, really good. Back in the old days, we had in every single Borderlands, actually, it was unique to the character because it would improve their skills even further or make their action skills more unique. Say, for example, Flak had Rack Attack, Gamma Burst, Fade Away, things like that. Moze had Iron Bear, non-Iron Bear, etc., etc. Borderlands 2, you had Maya's Catcom, which was unique to her because it was SMG damage, things like that. There was a lot of different diverse class mods that made each individual character's playthrough different and unique. We don't have that. And finally, characters as well, while we're talking about characters. Having only one skill tree per character in a multi-class system is kind of like a disguised form of multi-classing, because you're kind of just going to be maining one, and the other one is just there to exist. Now, this is a really bad example because I kind of go halfway into each, which is a good form of multi-classing, but it's just very, very rare. Most of the time, when you pick a character, you go down one tree and then the other character has like 3 skills maybe. Sometimes it's just there for the passive. And that's not really that diverse. You're kind of just building one character and the other one's just kind of there, you know? So I think our characters can definitely be a lot more unique. A way for this is augments. Augments was definitely a good change in Borderlands 3. An additional skill tree is also a good idea, but we haven't been seeing any of this. And finally, I also wanted to hit hard on the loot luck and dedicated drop system. Loot luck and dedicated drops are kind of just one and the same, where if you have loot luck, you get drops. If you don't have loot luck, you don't get drops. This was changed when they did the lucky dice switching, which was nice because you don't have to get lucky dice a million times over, however many characters you want to make. You just have to get them once and that's it. That is a positive change. However, loot luck is still attached to dedicated drops, and I don't think that's a good idea. I think having a flat rate is probably a lot better. Say like a 1 in 20, 1 in 25, a 30% drop rate, 10% drop rate, etc., etc. A flat rate is a lot better than a percentage rate, I think, which is a problem that we've been seeing. And I don't think a lot of people are necessarily wanting to do farms because of this. You're kind of not wanting to go through that system. You also see a common trend that once you make a build, what do you really do with it? You fight the raid boss once and that's it? There's not really, for a game that's like really proud and prideful on its endgame, there's not really a lot of endgame to be had. Especially when it comes to a completed build. You kind of just see a bunch of people killing Parasite, and that's really it. That's the character, that's the build. And then you're done. To hit hard on a couple of other things, enemy diversity is another one that's not really that great. You have, like, goblins, you have dragons, skeletons. That's pretty much makes up your majority of enemies. Other than that, they're kind of like reskinned. You know, like the skeletons in the first DLC, where they were just have like gingerbread on top of them, that sort of thing. I think I was playing Remnant actually the other day, and Remnant had these hydras that were like one-headed hydras, like smaller hydras. Maybe even five-headed hydras would be a cool thing. We don't have any of that either. But Remnant had it, and that's not even a game based off D&D. There's a lot that could change, but these are the main ones that I think would be the start to improvements. Let me know what you guys think Wonderlands can improve on. If you agree or disagree with anything that I have said, feel free to let me know. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all I have for you guys. I'll link you guys the Reddit post for the story I was talking about. And besides that, my name is Bflattened, guys, and I'm signing on out of here. Take care, all. Laters.